Hello, hi everyone. Thanks for joining. It's very exciting to see the live AMA has over triple the number of users compared to the last coffee with the CEO event. We have very exciting news. You guys had like great questions. I tried to collect as many questions as I could from both the Telegram channel as well as the YouTube chat. We are also having this AMA on Clubhouse, which I'm still waiting to activate. So I will just get into the room right now.
Hey everyone, we're just going to get started in a minute here. Denko, I am inviting you up.
Hello. Hey guys, can you hear me?
Hey Denko. Yep.
Perfect. All right, so I'm in parallel streaming on YouTube. There is a live stream, so I already have questions, which I will also take questions from Clubhouse as well as from the YouTube chat. So maybe I can already start because the live stream has been running for 2 minutes already.
Sure. Take it away.
Thanks, Rob. Thanks for hosting this. So hopefully,
hey, no problem. And by the way, Min will be on in just a moment. Clubhouse is still in private beta and clunky and glitchy, unfortunately. So she just told me that her Clubhouse app is giving her issues, so she'll be on in a second.
Yeah, that's fine. That's completely fine. The thing is that some people, when they ask questions on Clubhouse, the YouTube the live stream will also be able to hear those questions as well. But I will first start because I already have collected a bunch of questions. I will just try to cover everything, and then we can do like multiple rounds, one from Clubhouse, the other one from the live stream.
Hey man, sounds good. Let's kick it off.
Perfect. Thanks. So thanks again everyone for joining. We have over 1,000 people live on the YouTube stream, which is over 3 times more than the last event. So the community is growing at an exponential rate, and we are extremely excited about this. Obviously, the project has grown way more than we could ever expected in this time frame. And there are a lot of new people in the community, a lot of questions, and we've been ramping up on the community management, both in English-speaking communities as well as Chinese-speaking communities. So there's a lot of growth there. But the main point of this AMA is to cover the latest updates that we have been working on, the conference in Dubai, and some of the questions that the community has. So earlier today, we've published a blog on our Medium. It's called Letter to the Reef Community. So there we have links to the Global DeFi Congress, where I gave a presentation to many funds and family offices based in Dubai. But besides that, we have multiple exciting news that I will cover in depth, and the biggest one being the parachain auction participation, which is a completely new development track that we've been working on for around 1.5 months. But that I can give more details about that later. So the first questions that I want to address are the questions regarding the token supply and the total token supply. So as we've explained in the blog post, the growth has not been linear, and we are using 2 different market makers who are helping with the liquidity providing. And as you've guys probably noticed, all the projects that do not have proper order book structure, they have a lot of volatility, a lot of issues, and that's one thing that I was not happy about in day one. which created a lot of volatility in our token. A lot of people, bought into basically an empty order book. And us being into this landscape and working in the liquidity aggregation and analytics, this was something that I felt we could do better, and that's what we've done. So the goal is to have a stable market. The goal is to not have market. You have in this landscape, as everyone knows, you have a lot of market manipulation. And now one thing that nobody noticed is the token is shortable. So you have all of those people that are incentivized to engineer FUD as well as manipulate the price. And the market maker's job is to make sure that there is market stability. So this means that they have to maintain stability on both the bid and the ask side, and this requires supply on both sides. So there was an emergency basically to fill the order books because the price would basically skyrocket just like it did in the initial day. So this is pure market manipulation, and as I've been talking a lot about our analytics engine, this is something that it's very easily noticeable when you have the data, and the community being our number one by far priority. It's something that we want to make sure that everyone can buy the token without a lot of slippage. Another issue that some user had was Uniswap. There was tremendous activity on Uniswap as well. So in our app, people should go and provide liquidity as well, because the slippage is a lot. You have people buying over $50,000 on Uniswap, so that requires a lot of liquidity, knowing how the automated market making function works. And Uniswap, it requires a lot of liquidity. So that was the main reason. And what's very important is we've heard many complaints that the team is dumping and all the FUD related. This is completely not the case. When the team tokens get released, we are releasing a transparency report so people can see how many tokens and why and when, etc. And just like the first batch of the investors' tokens, the team will not be able to sell those tokens by hand. This has to be done through a professional market maker, because that's the only way how one can achieve stability. So again, to repeat, the new supply that entered into the market has nothing to do with dumping or the team tokens dumping. So that's the first thing that I want to address, because I felt it's the most. There is a lot of concern about this, and now I want to address it and make sure people understand the reasons behind it. Next is regarding the development team. As I kept mentioning, the development team has been working together for over 2 years, and we have an office. I've heard someone said that our office is short-term and cheap. That's completely not the case. Our office is actually quite expensive. It's a pretty big office with standing desks and everything. So it's a very decent place for developers, and we are scaling up even further. The development team is purely based in Slovenia. Now we are looking to expand in Singapore as well. In Dubai, the office will not have developers. In the upcoming weeks, we are launching a completely new landing page, which has a lot of resources about our code base and documentation and code snippets, because we are trying to onboard external developers as well, who will be able to contribute to our code base. And additionally, we have an in-depth team page which explains all the team members. And before the exchange listing, not revealing the development team was done on purpose, because as you guys probably know, developers that are capable to do any Polkadot code base are extremely rare. Like you can't pay them, because they don't really exist. And what happens is a lot of projects need those developers, and they come with offers such as like $400,000 to $500,000 a year salaries. And what we wanted to do is we wanted to show, and we discussed about this earlier with our developers, that we want this project to succeed, and we want to expand the team, and we want to have everyone's incentives aligned. Yes, so now the project has grown beyond what we could imagine in this time frame, and basically our developers will be revealed very soon. Our code base will be revealed very soon this quarter, there is one part of the code base that cannot be fully revealed. That's the analytics engine. It has certain code base that falls under different licensing. But this doesn't matter because the code base related to the blockchain infrastructure and the whole like non-custodial is completely open source and audited. So that's the second concern that I wanted to address. The third one, I hear like Glenn. Thanks. Those are actually very great questions and objective. So I want to address again the Viewly concern. As you guys probably seen, tier one VCs.
What's the question? Just so that the audience in Clubhouse is aware.
Okay.
What's the question?
Sure. So the first question was about the supply. The second question was about the development team. Why we have not revealed the names of the development team, and the third question is about a previous project that I've been involved with, and it's been more than one project that I've been involved with, and I'm addressing what happened to that project. So basically, that's the question. So I've been and this is all over the YouTube and in all of my AMAs. I kept saying that I've been part of multiple projects and I've led this team. So we've been developing the tech. So I've been a CTO before. This is the first time ever I'm a CEO and having like more control over the project and other decision making. And in previous projects, I had nothing to do with fundraising, nor burn rate, nor operational like directions. The only thing I took care was the tech side. And so what I'm saying is I had nothing to do with the investors or how the company is basically run. The important thing is that I've learned a lot from the mistakes that other people did, and that's how I basically got the confidence to become a CEO. And since I believe now I have learned from other people's yeah. 1 second. Hello?
Hey, I can hear you.
Yeah, my camera turned off because something happened to the lights in this room.
Okay. Okay.
It's weird. I'm back. Sorry, I for some reason the lights turned off.
All good.
Yeah. So so that's the case. That's also addressed. And I have what if one goes to my LinkedIn profile, you would be able to see like you know all the history where I worked for, what was my position. So I never like hid that I was part of some project. There was another project like in 2016 that I built their whole tech. So this had like you know a lot of governance inside. It had a lot of modules. Then the other project had a lot of peer-to-peer streaming, which worked perfectly because it was hybrid between a centralized CDN and peer-to-peer. But yeah, I should stop talking about the tech. So that's the answer. Another question is about our partnerships. As you guys know, Reef is about composing and integrating on top of the ecosystem. So partnerships are very natural for the project because they help us expand the user base. They help us basically offer our users access to more DeFi activities and to more functionalities. So we are basing a lot of our a lot of our core that's why I call Reef layer 1, basically, because we are giving the users access to the whole DeFi landscape. So it's not something that you come on Reef and then you're stuck with what Reef offers, but it's a gateway where you can access the whole landscape. Imagine it's like a Chrome browser for website. Reef would be your place to go for DeFi activities. So partnerships are a very organic step. And a lot of people asked why we did the Tron partnership. As you guys know, Tron has a lot of users. It's extremely fast chain, and it has a lot of activities, and a lot of gaming projects are based on Tron. And what's interesting about gaming is it's the first industry that will fully utilize the NFT. As I mentioned, we are getting into NFTs. We are talking to the best projects out there and the best ecosystems which are not part of the crypto landscape. So we are working on 2 different baskets. So you would be able to basically stake your Reef tokens and earn some very unique NFTs very soon. But more details on this is coming soon. So yeah, the reason why we partnered with Tron is there is a lot of potential about gaming, and they're already established. So I get that some people might not be happy with this, but this is a very important step for us. Next is the Reddit. So what happened on Reddit is, as I mentioned, we've actually tracked everything because I kept saying that we are scraping social media. Well, we're also scraping Reddit. And you could obviously see that there is a lot of engineered FUD. You have a lot of usernames that are fresh. You have a lot of usernames that have the karma points bought from random subreddits. So they are not like genuine users. And obviously, again, to repeat it, people should realize that when Binance added leverage, it's shortable. So you have a lot of people that are trying to inject FUD. Yeah, this is what happened basically on Reddit, and how they came up with me working in this previous project. It's just take a look at our VCs. We have interviews with the tier 1. These are the best VCs in this landscape, and they're the best because they have departments that do due diligence. And they not just background on the team members, but also tech due diligence. So if you take like Woodstock, it's a fund that they have their own department of developers that it took us weeks to go through our GitHub code base and make sure that everything is approved by their process. So obviously, those funds, they've seen that myself, I've been involved in other projects, and we discussed about this in depth, and I think in some of the interviews it's even mentioned that they're very happy that I have a lot of experience with building other projects. The other question is why the website is down. So we have two basically different infrastructure instances. The first one was for the landing page. This was a very simple infrastructure with Cloudflare on top. And unfortunately, there are certain actors that did an insane amount of DDoS. So they have like a pretty big botnet, probably bought it from somewhere. So right now we've migrated the whole infrastructure onto our dynamically scalable infrastructure. So now people can just DDoS as much as they want. Our servers will automatically meet the demands. Basically, we'll spin off like new instances, and the load will be handled. We had insane amount of traffic on the website. So another thing that I'm extremely excited about to talk is our parachain. So this is by far the most exciting news. I've mentioned this a bit, but I didn't talk about it in depth. So Reef is decided to be a parachain as well. Besides building on top of other ecosystems, through our parachains, now we'll be able to link the existing infrastructure and build basically our own blockchain. And I'm not sure if people realize, but Reef will be the first DeFi blockchain ever. It's a blockchain proprietary made for DeFi activities. So if you take a look at Ethereum, it's a general purpose blockchain, which is great, and people are deploying smart contracts on top for different financial primitives. Those are, as I said, they're smart contracts. They're built on top of the core infrastructural layer of the blockchain. So what happens with Reef's parachain? We have financial primitives built into the main infrastructure. What this allows us to do is basically we'll have all the DeFi activities that one would expect from like our own stable coin, which is backed by Reef, over collateralized, and not just backed by Reef. It can be backed by multiple other coins, to our own swapping mechanism, which is, by the way, not a frontier palette that's just like EVM copy. It's written in Rust, native on Polkadot. So this is a huge advantage because we can utilize literally the best attributes that the Polkadot ecosystem has, and we can onboard projects on top of our infrastructure. So far, the Basket engine was building on top of other projects' infrastructure and composing on top of their financial primitives. But now with the parachain itself, we're able to capture like a way bigger market share, because the network effect is bigger, because the TVL now lives on top of Reef's platform, so it's not on other infrastructure. So that's the exciting news. And regarding the supply, so as we mentioned in the letter, we will do a token burn as well as buybacks, as well as a pretty big percentage of the supply will be locked in order to mint the stable coin. So as you can imagine, if we need to create, let's say, like 5 million worth of RUSD, which is the stable coin, you would require at least 4 times more of that token locked. And this RUSD will be the main, basically, pair for the auto market maker built into the blockchain. So this way, the supply basically lowers even further. So it's not just burning, like it's that and much more than that. Obviously, you have validators, and anyone can run those nodes. You can delegate your vote to a certain validator, and you can earn as well. And what's cool about this, and why we've decided to expand our offices in Dubai and Singapore, is you have a lot of family offices that have minimum check size of 10 million, and they want to get into DeFi, and onboarding them on Ethereum is not a very easy task. And what our goal is we're building the infrastructure to be able to onboard those institutional investors as well. So and why we believe we can do it through our own parachain is because in the consensus, in the core runtime modules, we are working on certain mechanisms which will obviously, since it's a decentralized network, you can't like fully protect it from bad actors, but it has way more defensive attributes when it comes to hacks than Ethereum, which was built for like general purpose chain. This is adapted for DeFi and for managing basically like transactions and funds. It's a pretty big deal, and I would feel way more confident to onboard family offices on our own parachain, which they will participate in our own DeFi activities. So that's the reason of expanding to Singapore and Dubai. This month we are coming with the updated or extended roadmap, which includes the parachain auction, as well as all the runtime modules that we are releasing. So we will start first with our own stablecoin and swapping mechanism, and then as we progress, we will release more and more runtime modules, and everything will be explained in details. And since we are open sourcing the code as well, you would be able to track basically the progress on each deliverable in the roadmap directly on GitHub. So with all of those things, our goal is the following. So whenever someone starts a project, even if that's Bitcoin, you have people that are early, and they have to bootstrap basically the project. And what happens is this project needs to meet certain requirements in order to become fully decentralized, and we are all about that. We are pushing towards this, where when the moment we deploy the parachain, the DAO is built into the infrastructure basically, and the goal is to fully decentralize and make this the best DeFi blockchain out there. On top of that, one more thing about interoperability. XCMP had a great progress in the past few weeks, and Polkadot cleared up the air regarding the auction. So now we are confident that we can integrate our basket infrastructure that's deployed on other ecosystems with our own parachain. This will help us basically onboard existing Ethereum users on Polkadot even easier. Even like it will be extremely seamless, because they will have to install an extension, because Polkadot.js extension interacts with the parachain directly. While if you have MetaMask, you will have to install we will have to deploy the Frontier palette, which we will, because a lot of projects out there will migrate or will deploy their own instance on Reef, and they have their infrastructure already built in Solidity. So in order to capture the network effect, we have to support that as well. So depends on the runtime module that the user is interacting with. They will initially have to switch between two different extensions, but we plan to have our own extension where you would not have to jump back and forth, and this will also automatically take care of the bridging mechanism, which is like asset swapping and wrapping on another ecosystem. So that's basically the questions. There is another thing that I want to address when it comes to ticking all the boxes around decentralization. So as you guys know, we have vesting for our investors, and for our initial private investors. So what happens is, so far the initial distribution, it was basically manual. We had to run scripts and distribute those tokens. Obviously, we had the managed selling option, which most of the investors opted for, which was basically a controlled way for them to sell like some portion of their supply. So what we are going to do is we will lock the upcoming vesting periods in a zero APY time-locked farms, so they can automatically withdraw their tokens as the time passes. This means we will create like a spreadsheet of a sort. Yeah, this turned off again. 1 second. So this means we will create a spreadsheet which we call transparency report, and here you'll be able to see like the on which address are the investors token locked, in which farm, and when are they getting unlocked. And obviously this requires those tokens to actually be minted, but they will be locked, so they're not really like circulating. So that's another reason why CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap had issues updating our supply, because we had to provide certain endpoints, and we are providing them this week after the whole like investor supply gets settled. And again, regarding why the total supply is getting increased, it's not. It's to 20 billion until Reef becomes a parachain, and then in the consensus in the main layer we have a mild inflation model for the validated results, which when the project is fully decentralized, this will not be in our basically in our the decision making. We will not have power over this, so then the people can decide what's the inflation rate. The validators can vote, etc. So yes. So now let's jump to the questions from Clubhouse. Let me see. I think I covered everything.
Yeah, it'd be great to get some questions from the audience. I think we have a little time.
Let me see. Okay, so there is one guy, I think. Let me see. How can I? Okay, Jan.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Hello, guys. I would like to ask if there are any staking planned for Reef in the near future.
That's a great question. So the question is again, if there are staking incentives coming. So we released the first bond last week, and this was a bond where one can stake Reef tokens for 6 months, and they would earn 32% APY. And more bonds are coming, and the release of the bonds will keep accelerating, and they will not be just on Ethereum. They will be on BSC, because a lot of people complained why we are releasing more bonds, and not just Reef bonds. So two different types of bonds besides the Reef bond are coming very soon. So the first one, you'll be able to farm other projects tokens by locking Reef, and second, you'll be able to farm exclusive NFTs by locking your Reef token. So staking is definitely by far the most famous and the most requested feature, and we are working to make sure that we not only do a mediocre job where we offer some very basic staking mechanism, but something that's more innovative, something that's very different out there. And we started with the first bond, and more bonds are coming shortly. And again, to repeat,
I've used the opportunity actually, so I know about the bond itself, and also there have been two different types of staking opportunities before. I am aware of that. Could you please say something more about just staking Reef itself? Are you planning on increasing it, or any plans in this regard? Just Reef itself, except for the bond.
So you're asking if you will be able to stake Reef tokens?
Yes.
Yes, you will be able to, and not just in the bonds, also in other mechanisms as well.
Okay, and I should expect some details about it coming up very soon through the announcement channel.
Very soon, correct.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the one question that I had, but I can have some others. But let's give some other people also the opportunity to speak.
Perfect. Thanks for your question. Hello, hi Connor.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, I'm curious about the Unify liquidity pool. If I could get an update on that. The announcement and the tweet was deleted with the rewards that were supposed to be provided.
Correct. Were you the guy that already provided some liquidity?
Correct.
Great. Because what happens is we are rewriting the guidelines and the mechanics, but the moment the pool was launched, the APY will go retrospectively. So everyone basically who went into the pool and provided liquidity will get the APY, and it will be a huge APY, by the way, because as you know, 2,500 Unify tokens are more like $75,000. So they're already, we talked to them, they're already monitoring the addresses that provide liquidity. We'll just release more details, and this will last a bit longer. So instead of 2 weeks, it will last 3 or 4 weeks. The whole pool, the whole liquidity providing. So you are basically good, and you will get a pretty big reward for being early.
Great, thank you.
Thank you as well. Okay, so next question, Dylan.
Hi, Danka. Thank you for your time.
Hey, Dylan.
So
Yeah.
my question that I was going to ask is, when might we have any more clarity on the whole parachain process in terms of the adaptation of Reef finance onto the Polkadot ecosystem?
That's a great question. So I think one question that was out there, which is probably the most important one, is how are we going to secure the slot? And it will be a hybrid model between the crowd loan and the company itself. So that's the answer to that. More details like around the crowd loan will come very soon. And besides that, like regarding the technicalities, we are releasing testnet this quarter. These are news because we've never announced this. So the block explorer is coming as well as the testnet on Rococo. And then we, as you've probably seen that Polkadot announced their updated roadmap. So there is a bit more clarity about the parachain auction. So there will be a parachain every 2 weeks, and our goal is to be in the first 5 parachains. So that's what we are pushing for.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dylan. Okay, and the last question from the audience is from Rashid. I promoted you. Oh, there's another one. Great.
Hello, Denko. Yeah, thank you for your time. I'm just reading through the website, and I'm very new to the space in terms of learning about the technology. I'm more on the business and marketing side. But if you're explaining your technology to like a 10-year-old and why it's important and why it would be needed within the blockchain ecosystem, how would you go about sort of giving like an elevator pitch and just breaking down the fundamental use case, the fundamental reason why it's important and how you see it being used in the future?
Sure. So Reef is a user-centric product which helps users get into DeFi in the easiest possible way. So you do not have to be into crypto in order to use Reef. That's our vision. So imagine you have a lot of airline companies, and then you have aggregator such as Skyscanner, from which you can go and you can find out the best deal. That's what Reef does to the DeFi landscape. You come, you don't have to learn the mechanics, you don't have to even know the word liquidity providing and all of those tech or financial terms. You just come. There is a fiat on-ramp, so you can use your debit card. You can put, let's say, $1,000 in just a few clicks. Based on your risk levels, you are into DeFi. And with the Reef debit card, you can easily spend the yields that you're making. That's the elevator pitch.
So would it be a competitor to like a Yearn in terms of a yield aggregator, or if I'm coming into DeFi and I don't have any prior experience, I can upload, let's say, $1,000 to my debit card, and then I get the main fundamental value proposition is I get a return on that $1,000, and all your technology goes out there and finds the best APY for that return. Is that kind of?
Yes, that's the case. Except that in our case, you can in the case of Wi-Fi, you have certain strategies that are fixed, and you can participate in some of them. Well, here you can custom tailor your exposure based on the volatility that you personally want. So there is a basket that you can pick, and then you can further adjust it based on its past performance, based on other metrics that you feel comfortable with. And on top of that, you can get into more than one with ease, and then you get a portfolio tracking, which helps you with the exposure. So it will be like you're too exposed to like a certain LP pool, you're too exposed maybe to NFTs, etc. So it comes with like smart management as well. And from Reef, you can also get into Wi-Fi. So you can have Wi-Fi in the basket. So it's a one layer above the current DeFi protocols, because we are not the APY is not created in our infrastructure. It's created in other protocols. So you're getting in other protocols through Reef. So we are not competing for TVL directly, but our TVL is part of other protocols. We are helping get TVL in other protocols, but they come through Reef. That's the position.
Got it. Appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Hello, Vincent.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Super. Okay, I've got one quick question. Anyway, thanks for your update. I think it's really clear and concise, so I'm enjoying it so far. I've got a question on your marketing side. I've seen that Reef song competition. I think, these things are really cool in terms of marketing. But as you've seen as well, is that some of the community didn't respond that well to these kind of things, these kind of projects. And I'm just wondering what your take on this is. Is this something you want to do more to let the community grow? Or are you having other learnings by seeing the reactions from the community? I wonder what your take on this is.
Yes, it's the latter. Basically, like what we do is since we've worked with like crypto and non-crypto like startups in the past, everything is about testing a channel and seeing the effectiveness and the feedback. So the feedback that is not resulting in positive vibe, we will not do it, not do more of it. So it's like, you allocate certain marketing capital into a certain channel, you test it out. If the vibe is positive, it's obviously good to allocate more into that channel. If not, you don't. So that's our plan. Okay. And obviously, and also one more thing is some things are like not fully in our control, because other people can just decide to market the project themselves. So
Okay, but just go by learning by doing, to see what works for marketing and what resonates with your community.
Yes, exactly. That's the path that we are following. I've been part of projects that spent like $300 on Google Ads and had no effect, and they kept spending. So we will definitely like we are definitely incorporating the feedback from the past. So that's the way to go. The one that you mentioned.
Super. Thanks.
Thanks, Vincent. Thanks for your question. Jonathan, welcome. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, so thank you for your time, and thank you for clarifying a lot of the stuff that people has been asking. So I also have a question about staking.
Okay.
Will it be possible to stake Reef through the Binance Smart Chain?
Yes. The next bond will be on Binance Smart Chain. So that's
all right. Okay.
There will be multiple bonds, but the next one is on Binance Smart Chain. So this is another kind of semi-announcement. Yes.
All right, cool. Thank you. That was my own question.
Perfect. Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Okay, and the last question, Junior. It didn't work. Hello, Junior. You can ask your question.
Hi.
Yes.
Okay. A lot better. If you could just call him out in my place, he actually has a very important question to ask. My question is about someone like myself that's holding on to a lot of the right now. Do you think that I should be patient with the process of the project and just see how things go? Or would it be better to just play it safe and like rely so much on all the information that we've seen so far?
Okay, so the first thing regarding your exposure to the token, I cannot like tell you like if you should hold or not, because that's perceived as an investment advice. This is a decision that you have to do it yourself. But one advice that I have is you should not get into projects with more than you are comfortable with. That's the general rule when it comes to investing. And the second thing, which is important, is if you believe in the in the vision of the project. Just generally, not just about Reef, but if you believe like in the long-term vision for a project, you should ignore the daily noise that's happening. That's the rule of thumb, not just for this, but for really for anything in this and other spaces as well.
Great, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Junior, for joining. Hello, Bob.
Hello,
Good evening.
my question is, where do you see Reef in the next 5 years?
That's a great question. So as I mentioned, we are building our own proprietary DeFi blockchain, and we believe that this is obviously like a vision, and it's very ambitious. But our goal is to have like all the financial primitives running, be one of the biggest stable coins out there, and have the biggest TVL, even more than Ethereum itself. That's the big vision. So yeah, that's a lot of work that we have to do, but I believe dedication and consistency will get us there. That's a great question. Thanks. Hello, hi Pascal.
Hi Denko, thank you for allowing me to ask a question. Quick question from my side. Have you given some thought as to how you will be rewarding long-term holders?
Yes, so when the parachain goes live, one would be able to become a validator, and second is the bonds that are coming. So they're giving you exposure not just to like earning APY in Reef, but also giving you access to other tokens and other types of asset classes. And as you probably heard a guy earlier, he asked about the Unify farming. So this is a huge APY, and this is happening, now. And the people who are early, they will be able to stake their Reef tokens into those bonds and earn high APY. So basically, as the project progresses, we have more and more activities tied to the token. And obviously, if you were part of the project at the beginning, you have the possibility to participate in those activities earlier.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And yes, I know that I keep saying this great question. I genuinely think it's a great question, but everyone says just don't say it's a great question. It's not. Yeah. So I have let's say there's more questions. Hello, Callum. Can you hear?
Hello?
Yes, you can. I think we can hear you.
Yeah, perfect. All I've got to ask is, do you think that the defensive measures that we've got in place at the moment to prevent manipulating the price, do you think this is suppressing the token price itself?
I cannot like comment much on the price movement, but being in this space for a while, through our market makers, we are doing the best we possibly can to make sure that something like day one doesn't ever happen again.
Got you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Hello, Gabriel. Doing well. Doesn't work. Sorry, I can't. Oh yeah, it's here now. Can you say something, Gabriel?
Yes. My question is, why do you fail?
Hello? Okay, that's a good question. So it's not just that; it's multiple projects. So if you take a look at project generally, statistically, a lot of projects are struggling to find product market fit. So and what happens? You have runway, and what runway means, you get certain amount of funds, and then you create a roadmap based on your budget, and you try to extend this roadmap as much as you can. And the goal is to test as many ideas as you can if the first one doesn't work well. So in the case of Yuli, there were 3 products that were being built by myself and my team. And obviously, it's not just the product. You need to do proper marketing. You need to do proper business development. You need to know how to validate it. So you need metrics. You need data. Why people don't like something or why people like something. And statistically, if you see 9 out of 10 startups fail because they cannot find product market fit, and they basically burn through the investors' money, by spending the money for building something that they could not validate on time, that their user base doesn't need. So that was the case. And on top of that, I think there was like a bear market coming, and I think the treasury was not managed very well. But I didn't really have access to those insights because I was not the CEO of the company. I was just taking care of the tech. Thank you. Alexon?
Yeah, thank you so much for bringing me onto the stage. I have a quick question that I'm going to do. I don't know if this like wants to put up the clubhouse, but I'm definitely love to be a modern help to like get people up here and move them on stage if you want. But besides the point, I'm really curious. Also, kind of like my master's decision, but I'm very curious about the DeFi space and where it's at. So I just started to do both ways. And what I see is that there's so many different players who do the same thing, and maybe that's ignorant about finance and yield farming and market makers and this kind of thing. So my question is when do you think, at what point would you predict, what is the intuition tell you, that the market will kind of coalesce for 3 main players? Because right now everything's still super bootstrapped. Individuals are essentially so I'll leave it at that.
Yes, so I think I understood your question. So the answer to that is the following. Like right now, like when it comes to DeFi, you have like a bunch of terms like financial primitives, auto market making, yield, farming, etc. And those words are currently being thrown around very loosely. So a lot of projects are like, this cross-chain, this cross-chain, that. It's because it's in a very early stage, and I believe that a lot of users, it's very hard for a non-financial user to understand the core differences in these projects. And the only differentiating factor over the long run would be if the project sticks and exists and delivers, and the market rewards this when it comes to the user base market. So when people see that something is consistently happening here, when people see that the team is here, it exists, it's present, it works, there's updates, there is commits on GitHub, there is features coming, automatically the users will convert into the most decent projects, as we've seen on Ethereum, like Aave and all of those very great players which are already established. But DeFi is just getting started. So yeah, the only differentiating factor that I see is only long term. You cannot really do much on the short term. There is literally no constructive indicator how you can differentiate a project, based on fundamental metrics. Sure.
You mentioned that there are certain signs to look for when you're looking at long-term wise. That this is a long-term thing. You really don't know if it's going to be a market
Okay, so that's I think the answer to that would be you have to tie the value proposition that the project is offering with the potential network effect that the project can trigger. So I think the best way to do it is you have to take a parallel from the traditional financial world, which is very established and mature industry. And then you'll be like, okay, like there is an actor such as Robinhood that does this and that. There is actor like Nasdaq, which is, you can take a parallel, let's say Binance, and you can take like, this is Goldman Sachs, this is this is that, and this is a pretty good kind of way to go, because you'll be like, okay, this worked in the traditional financial world, and those guys are recreating it, and they're positioning themselves similar to these people, and obviously this worked because it created a big network effect for those guys. So this is one kind of factor that you can kind of assume, but obviously the best metric is when you see like, you know, numbers such as TVL, such as active user base, such as volume. This is fundamental, basically metrics. But in order to get to those, the project needs to be mature, and you know, when you get into early projects, I think a parallel with the traditional financial world is the best way to go. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. And the last question. One Toronto.
Yeah,
Welcome.
how's it going? Thank you for giving me a moment of your time. I just wanted to quickly ask your marketing efforts. You know, I am an investor. I've been following and a supporter of Reef. I've been following it for some time. So I've seen the different efforts of, you know, the competition, music competition, and so on to kind of redirect. What other plans do you have to have onboarding? And you know, I've been watching the price closely, like most people have of the token, and it hasn't been moving much. So, what are your plans?
Yeah, so we have, as you've probably noticed from all the Polkadot projects, I can say with confidence that we have the most marketing by far when it comes to attracting, because we are a B2C like product. I'm not saying that other projects don't have good marketing. I'm saying that since we are a B2C project, it's obviously, you can see in the metrics that our marketing is quite efficient, but we can always improve. We're always testing new channels. We're always coming up with new ideas, new sources. Our goal is to onboard non-crypto users as well, and I think we are on a pretty good way by attracting people who have never been into crypto before to get with ease into DeFi. So this is our big goal, as well as provide value proposition for users who are already into DeFi. So the marketing is not something that, it's not like I think that's very kind of deterministic if it will work or not. You have to test multiple sources, and this is what we are doing. We are just trying to test all the sources, and whichever source is efficient, we make sure that we double down on that. So yes, we are always brainstorming and coming up with new ideas.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, there's been quite a buzz, and that's how I found out about Reef. But you know, there's the fun that's happening as well. So I think the communication that happened today was great. I think there needs to be more of that.
Yes.
And in terms of addressing different issues, the partnerships, I don't think a lot of people are a fan of making an announcement of an announcement.
Correct.
We'd like to see more announcements and about the partnerships, as well as different upcoming initiatives as much as possible. Thank you for your time.
Thank you as well. Thank you. Definitely, we're learning from the mistakes and things that were not taken positively. We are just cutting them off, such as the one that you mentioned. Thanks for your questions. Okay, guys. So it was a pleasure answering all of your questions. As I've mentioned, we've been we are working on the API, the backend that we need to provide to CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko. So we expect that this will be updated this week. And yeah, that's so sorry for the lights. For some reason, they turn off from time to time. Another thing is our GitHub is extremely active. Like it's extremely active. It's private. One part of it is private because of reasons that our code base has some proprietary stuff that cannot be open sourced. But we are open sourcing a lot of things this quarter, including the testnet and documentation. And this way, external developers will be able to open pull requests. People will be able to run the node locally. We are updating the new landing page with a lot of resources. So yes, GitHub is coming. Actually, we plan to do this in December, but now we are adding more things. And Carl, yes, Terra Virtua NFTs. That's it. We are very focused on NFTs, and those guys being the leaders in this space. We are planning great things together. So then, thanks everyone for joining. It's been an hour. We will do those AMAs more often. And as the last person asked that we should address certain things earlier, I definitely agree with this, and we decided to do this AMAs even more frequently than we initially thought. Thanks again, everyone, and have a great week ahead. Bye.